What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another great episode of the Windy City Rundown. I am Eric Avila. Jose Contreras should be joining me a little later on the show. But before we continue on the show, guys, please, as always, like and subscribe on our YouTube page. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers before the start of the NFL season. So if we greatly appreciate for you guys doing that for us. And if you're watching this on Facebook, always like and share our show on your Facebook page for your friends and family. Um, get that out of the way. All our social media outlets still the same. We just need to run down on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all that good stuff. Posting for you guys as much as we can on our busy life schedules, but we will do the best we can for you guys. But as always, Windy City Rundown live for you, live 7 o'clock on Wednesdays. A little late, just in everything, but we're here, we're live, and we are running off with the show and starting off with the part of the news of the week, I guess, in Chicago sports, and that the Bulls hired a head coach. The Bulls finally have a head coach in Thiago Splitter. He was the interim coach for the Portland Trail Blazers after their, how should I say this, their debacle, their little scandal. I guess that's the perfect way to put it. Their little scandal that they had in the beginning of the season with their head coach Chauncey Billups. But Thiago Splitter had a 42-39 record as a head coach for the Portland Trail Blazers. He's coming in. This is probably technically his first head coaching job in the NBA. He led the Portland Trail Blazers to a playoff push that, quite frankly, I don't think anybody expected the Portland Trail Blazers to be there. And so he helped a lot defensively. That Portland Trail Blazers was a very good defensive team throughout the whole entire season, or majority of the season. They got bounced in the first round. Obviously, the lack of talent on there too as well. But this, to me, ladies and gentlemen, is the start of what I feel is a great. How should I say? I couldn't say great. I think it's a sign that the Bulls have turned that page. I think that's a perfect way to put it, right? So I do have a poll question for today. It's more than likely is like, how do you feel about Thiago Splitter as the Bulls head coach? There's four options. So if you put number one, number two, number three, number four in the chat, whether if you're watching us on YouTube or on Facebook, if you just put the number one, either you like it, number two, you love it, three, you feel like they should have done better. If you're one of those people that didn't think that the Bulls did a good job in hiring or doing their due diligence in hiring a head coach with experience, or four, you're in the fence, you're in the wait and see mode. You don't know what you're looking for, what it is that you're waiting for. So, I am going to put my vote into the chat, and I'm just going to keep it plain and simple, right? So if you put number one for like it, number two for love it, number three for they should have done better, or number four, you're going to wait and see. I already put my vote in the comment section as number one. So yeah, that's the poll question of the day. How do you guys feel about the Bulls hiring Thiago Splitter? And quite frankly, he said a lot of good things about. Let me rephrase it. Thiago Splitter did say a couple good things coming in on today with his press conference. Apparently, he was a Bulls fan, right? He was a Bulls fan from the start, watching the '90s. Obviously, that era growing up. What's up, Jose? Man, how are you?
What up? What up? What up?
Hey, I'm good, bro. I'm good. Talking about the Chicago Bulls and the new head coach, my guy. Going over a couple of things that that he said in his press conference today. Uh, First thing that stood out, he said he was a Bulls fan. Yeah, he grew up watching Jordan in the '90s. So, I mean, obviously, probably that time frame for the players that are going to be coaches were given that opportunity. Whether if he said that for the fans or whether if he really genuinely meant that, who knows? But him from being from Brazil, I think that's a genuine answer about it, and I feel that's what he got. But here's a few things that he said that I'm gonna go read off before I get your opinion on this, Jose. Is that he says, I think we have a great future in front of us. We want to create a culture of high standards, great habits every day to get better, to grow. It's going to be a lot of work. It's going to take some time. I know what it takes, and I know what the responsibility that I have and the expectations that come with being the head coach of the Chicago Bulls. Those were words from your new head coach, Thiago Splitter, Jose. And the poll question for tonight, Jose, how do you feel about the Bulls getting Thiago Splitter as their head coach for the Chicago Bears or Chicago Bulls? Sorry.
You know what? It's all unknown. Everything that's going on with the Bulls right now is unknown. You know what? The president of basketball rights, Bryson Graham, Tiago Splitter. Um, we don't know how to evaluate it just yet, and honestly, that's fine. That's okay. You know what I mean? I like going in kind of not knowing what's going to happen. You know, we can just do what we always do best, and that's hope. You know, we did that for the Bears for so long. You know, we didn't know what Ryan Poles was going to be until he proved that hey, he could do a lot of good. We didn't know, um, even though we knew Ben Johnson was the belle of the ball, we didn't know exactly how his head coaching abilities will translate with the Bears, and you know, it translated nicely so far after one season. So when it comes to the Bulls, we got to kind of go with the same mindset. We don't know what we're getting ourselves into with this hire, but at the same time, we also have to realize and put some reality in here, Eric, which is what do you expect is going to happen? We don't have nobody on our team. We have to draft. We have to acquire talent. We 1 year of Tiago Splitter doesn't isn't gonna should it make or break him? You know what I mean? Because he's going to need time to establish his this team's identity, to establish what this team's going to be known for, and that's only going to happen when you have players who are here for the long haul. When you have players who you know is going to be the core, the nucleus of what you're trying to build. The one thing we do know about Thiago Splitter, right, is that he's very good. He's a very good defensive minded head coach. So expect this team to be hard nosed, to be scrappy, and to believe in themselves. If you look at the Trailblazers last year, after Chauncey Billups got arrested and that whole debacle, Thiago Splitter was the interim head coach. He came in and he led that team to the playoffs. And shout out to them, right? Because it's because of them why we have two top 15 picks in this year's draft. Um, but with that being said, it's good. It's really it's a good sign knowing that this guy has a bit of experience, knows how to play the game well. Remember what team he played for? He played for the San Antonio Spurs for a very long time. Who coached him for those years? Greg Popovich. So he knows a thing or two. He's seen it firsthand what good coaching looks like. So for me, I'm going in with a lot of positive. I'm going in with, just, I guess just overall hope and optimism and just, I guess, hopefully it works out in our favor. But yeah, man, that's what I'm going into, Eric, to be quite honest.
I think that's a safe way to approach it, Jose. Because you're absolutely right. Look, we've been bamboozled so many times for so many years with the Chicago Bulls organization, right? We don't know what to expect, or we feel like we know what to expect, and yet it's the complete opposite after that, right? So I get your point, right? There's already been 3 votes on here, obviously 2 of them, whatever, we can count that. But CP put his vote in here too as well, how he feels. He put number 1, he likes it. He says 1 step at a time, Jose. With the Chicago Bulls and this whole rebuild. But you're absolutely right. I think it takes upon talent. Now, look, he's saying all the right things. You said the right thing too as well. He came from a winning organization in the San Antonio Spurs. He's won a few titles with the San Antonio Spurs, Jose. So, I mean, that gives you some type of.
1 step at a time, CP. I'm with you. I'm with you 1 step at a time. All I'm saying is, let's give this team the benefit of the doubt. No one knows what they're going to be yet.
No, 100%.
All I'm trying to say is let's go in there with open mind and hope for the best.
Yeah, he said, I like the hiring. It's a good start, a fresh start. Tired of the Bulls being traditional and bringing in people that are familiar. With you, needed something new. No, 100%, and I think that's what it does, right? This doesn't give me Tom Thibodeau vibes at all. This gives me more of like they're coming into what the NBA is nowadays, right? Obviously, we all wanted Billy Donovan. Billy Donovan just decided to leave. That's fine. I think this is probably like what was him, Jason Kidd, and the other coach that I think went to Orlando, if I'm not mistaken, were probably the 3 hot commodities coming into the NBA season for the new head coaching job position. So I do like this move from the Chicago Bulls. Like I really do. Does it give me hope to probably turn them on a little bit? Sure, 100%. I think this kind of gives me somewhat a hope. There's no more bozos running that organization. There's no more like people that are just hiding and not really understanding what Chicago really is or how they really feel, right? And the next thing you said, they need the talent, bro. The one thing that I wish they would have done, Jose, is probably get this head coach like a week or two ago, because the NBA draft is next week, and it's. I'm not saying it's not hard or it's easy to evaluate NBA talent, whether you know or not. And obviously, Thiago Splitter playing in the NBA for so long, I think he could get an eye and talent in that aspect. But it's also trying to convince a group of guys that's already been here for like a month or so and seeing your vision and what you see and what players that they like, what players this person likes, and what player you like. And that's what it is. That's what it comes down to. Now, the Bulls are drafting 4 in this year's draft for the NBA next week. But it just feels like it still wouldn't be good enough. Maybe from a standpoint from all of us, because we all have our different opinions, but it feels like it still wouldn't be good enough for the Chicago Bulls to like kind of build on, like, you know what I mean? Like if it's not the kid from Kansas, or if it's not Cam Boozer, it just feels like, okay, yeah, the other guys are good enough, but are they really that good enough? Caleb Wilson. So I mean, I don't know. My personal preference, we got a head coach. I like it. It's going down the good road. I just know this is going to be a work in progress, and we have to take this one step at a time.
Yeah, 100% one step at a time. I mean, again, let's just remember, okay, we're starting from ground zero.
100%.
Ground zero. There is no starting. This is a starting point. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know what we have with anybody yet. Nobody on this team is safe. You could talk about Matas Buzelis and Josh Giddey. Nobody here is safe.
No, not at all.
To me, the only person that's going to be safe is the person they draft, number 4 this year, and hopefully number 15, but number 4 for sure, right? Whoever the Bulls get number 4 should be the first step to the future, right? You have this is a pretty good draft, a pretty good lottery draft, right? The top 4, top 5 guys that come out should be talent that should help this team, in the long haul. So Caleb Wilson, right? It seems to be the name everybody's floating around. Everybody wants. The kid's dynamic, very athletic. Has a personality. He's somebody that could come in and really establish some type of identity for this team. That's cool with me, right? It's just whatever his game in college has to translate in the NBA. So now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he's coming off an injury. So let's just see how this works out. But if that's the case, cool. We're like, what, a week away? A week or two away?
Literally next Thursday.
Next Thursday, yeah. We're a week away from the NBA draft. So I'm going to be locked in, man. But yeah, that's going to be the only player in my book who's going to be untouchable for the foreseeable future. So let's see what they can do. I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic. It's the first time I've been optimistic in a long, long time. So hopefully, Eric, they don't let me down again.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The Bulls have the 4th and the 15th picks of for next week's draft. Last things, a couple things before we move on to the next topic. Jose said, Splitter says, I guarantee you one thing: you're going to compete every night, and we are going to have a high standard with everything that we do, and then eventually we can make small goals and small wins. So,
real quickly, Eric, on the Thiago Splitter hire, if I'm not mistaken, Portland wanted him back, and there was other teams that were interested in him. So that tells me the Bulls paid they paid a good price to get Thiago Splitter here. That's a good sign for Michael Reinsdorf. The fact that everything was done the right way. It wasn't as backward like we thought it was going to be when he first came out and said, well, they need to like Billy Donovan and blah, blah, blah. Thank God everything went the way it was supposed to. He hired the executive first, and then from that guy, and from there, the executive did the rest. It seems like Michael Reinsdorf was willing to pay with whatever he needed to pay to get a good head coach. Thiago Splitter as a head coach full time is still TBD, but what he's been able to do as an interim has been pretty good.
I just like the fact how they also put this the hiring of Thiago Splitter the day of the Knicks winning the NBA title, the day after the Knicks winning the NBA title. So, I mean, hey, I love it. I love the Chicago Bulls really trying to take away the thunder.
No, I don't.
from it.
I don't think it was more of them taking away the thunder. I think it was just, hey, the year's over now. The Knicks won the championship day
Let's
one.
move on.
That's the day one now. Now it's a whole new season. Day one is here. Let's get to it. So I like that mentality for sure.
How willing are you? And right before I go to CP's comment real quick, and then the question is like, who makes more sense for the Bulls the upcoming draft, right? Let me get to the comments real quick for CP. CP says, yeah, this fourth pick is extremely important for the Bulls. For the basketball gods are giving you a chance to rectify that horrible Patrick Williams mistake, whether Caleb Wilson or whoever build on that guy for sure. Yeah, obviously Cam Boozer is another one. But you're absolutely right. They're expecting they're high expectations, especially for a guy like Mata Buzelis, because the guy what's his name, Yanduis, the guy that had made his first All-Star appearance for Portland, that Thiago Splitter kind of developed throughout that range, right? I mean, at least let's put in that aspect that he could develop players, or he has an idea how to develop players, and a guy like Mata Buzelis, he can develop that guy into what he can, right? But like, if an opportunity, Jose, was given to you to say, hey, Memphis, to go up one spot, right? Let's just put this. Are you willing to go up one spot to get a Cam Boozer if that means you have to trade the fourth and Josh Giddey? Like, would you make those type of moves in the NBA draft to probably, I guess, step on the accelerator just a little bit, Jose, to make this progress a lot more quicker with a better talent and the top two?
If you want the number 3 pick, and all it takes is the number 4 and Josh Giddey, yeah, do that pick. I mean, why not? Like I said, nobody on this team right now, to me, is untouchable. You know what I mean? And you're moving up, which means you can get a guy you really, really want, a guy you feel could really make a difference for your team. Yeah, why not? But if you're giving up the 4th pick, Josh Giddey, and then 2 future first round, no. Right now, what's gold, what's important to us are picks.
Yeah, thanks.
Keep your picks. If other than your second rounders, you have a boatload of second rounders. Shout out to AK for that. If you could use those second rounders to move up or to trade for players, why not? That's fine too. Like you have an abundance of second round picks. Use them if you needed to. That's okay. But as far as first round picks for this year, next year, the year after, unless you're getting a superstar, you're not. That's not going anywhere. That shouldn't go anywhere. That right there is important to you. Build through the draft, right? You're going to have a plethora of money. So bring in guys as you need. Bring in some veterans to help these young guys. Bring in some shooters that'll help to make a difference. And focus on developing talent. That should be the identity for the Bulls the next couple of years. Focus on developing young talent. Bring in some vets to help with that in the locker room. And then bring in some shooters to help, you know what I mean? And any capacity that you need to. So that's the way I see it. If you want to move up and that's all it takes, hell yeah. But I have a feeling if you're Memphis, you're not giving up the number 3 pick unless you're getting some more first round picks. So I feel like they're gonna want the 4th, the 15th, and you know what I mean, and maybe a couple of second rounders. And to me, that's still too much. You know what I mean? So
or even probably just using that second first round pick, that number 15, with a player like Josh Giddey as well to move up into the top 10 too as well. I think that's also a great move for that. Teams like, I think Atlanta needs a point guard after trading Trae Young. I don't know if they want to go young, but that's also an option. They also need a 2. The Sacramento, give or take whatever you wanted. Who else needs one? Let me see. Let me go right here. The Clippers. All right, I'm on the ESPN app, so. I mean, look, there's plenty of teams that can get a Josh Giddey that would probably be interesting. And obviously, like I said, Josh Giddey in the 15th to move up, and then you just kind of collect the resources. You get 2 players in one draft in that point. But like even then, so Jose, like it's like you're absolutely right. There's nobody in this team that's untouchable. There's no such thing as an untouchable with the Chicago Bulls organization whatsoever. With the players that are in house. So, and yes, you would love to grow with. The players that you had, like the Mata Buzelis, like the Josh Giddey, who you traded for, Alex Caruso for. In that aspect, I wish Io was still here, but it is what it is. But you're absolutely right. I mean, CP said it. We have to rectify the decision from Patrick Williams. We could have had Tyrese Halliburton as a Chicago Bull instead of Patrick Williams. But it is what it is. I guess people we're smarter and trying to outsmart the room when in reality it wasn't. Excuse me, sorry, but damn, I'm just burping this ceviche.
No, but you were saying, right, just like UNCP said, right, you want to rectify the number 4 pick and getting Patrick Williams. You also want to rectify trading Ayo Dosunmu and Kobe White for second rounders. When you seen what those guys can do in the playoffs when it mattered, you got to rectify that too. So that's why I'm saying don't make stupid trades like AK did for nothing. If you're going to get rid of guys like Josh Giddey or Matas Buzelis, right, make sure you're getting value in return. Not saying that these guys are worth keeping. All I'm saying is they were worth something to you, and they might be worth something to somebody else. So make sure you take advantage of that. That's all I'm basically saying. Like rectify 100%. What you did. Get more than second rounders. Like I don't know if Josh Giddey or Matas Buzelis is worth the first rounder, but get as much as you can. That's all I'm trying to say.
No, 100%. I mean, they're both pretty young. I mean, I don't think you want to give up on either of them simply because how young they are.
Right.
Buzelis is just 21, Giddey at 23. So yeah,
I like Buzelis. I like Buzelis a lot.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to be someone of interest, especially with growth and especially under the tutelage of what's his name, Thiago Splitter coming in. So
yeah.
Fun. Windy City Rundown here on Facebook and on YouTube, guys. Please help us get us to 500 subscribers on our YouTube page before the start of the NFL season. That's the goal that we want to reach out for everybody. So please go on our YouTube page, like and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell everybody that you know that are into sports to go in, subscribe to Windy City Rundown. We are live every Wednesday at 7:00. And also like and share our show on your Facebook page. Please give us the love and support there too as well for your friends and family on your Facebook page. So Bulls made the move. Thiago Splitter, poll question of the night. It's going to be up the whole entire night. 1 for like it, 2 for love it, 3 they should have done better, and 4 just going to wait and see. Those are the 4 options. We're going to have the vote up the whole entire night. So please, on the chat, on the comment section, whether on Facebook or on YouTube, put number 1, number 2, number 3, or number 4 for your answer. And yeah, Thiago Splitter, welcome to the Chicago Bulls as the Chicago Bulls head coach. Hopefully this is a start of something that it's the turning page for the Chicago Bulls and this organization that we've been yearning to have a good team for years and years to come. Jose, we got to talk about this because for the last couple of weeks, I have not been paying attention to baseball whatsoever, right? And that's just for other reasons that's going on in my life that I intend and I love a little bit more, and I like a little bit more than just 106,000 baseball games in one summer season. But right now, the Cubs and the Sox are on different spectrums that we never thought that they were hit this season at all. Right? We thought, and I'm gonna put it right here, we thought that the Chicago Cubs would probably be one of the teams in the MLB that will be competing for the World Series. But right now, Jose, the Cubs are 38 and 36, 8 games back of the NL Central, and a half game behind the wild card positions. The team that a month ago or 2 months ago won, not one, but 2, had 2 multiple 10-game winning streaks, and then they had another 10-game losing streak. And it just felt like that just flipped, and now everybody's topsy-turvy on this Chicago Cubs team, right? As for the White Sox, nobody saw this coming. I'm talking about nobody. 38 and 33, tied for first in the AL Central. Nobody, like we said, nobody saw this coming. Jose, 2 different spectrums of our Chicago baseball teams. On the positive side, if you want to see this, we have 500 baseball on both sides of the city for the first time in such a long time. So that's the positive aspect. But you and I, as Cubs fans, they may be 2 games above 500, but we know damn well for sure that this is not what we expected from the Cubs this year.
No, we're on the wrong side of it. It's crazy how both teams are, above 500, but it feels like 2 different scenarios. Like it's all positive in the South side, and with us Cubs fans, it's completely negative, man. And a lot of that has to do with, how hot the Cubs started, and it's just been a free falling, just mediocrity type of performance game in and game out. there's some bright spots, right? We're seeing PCA who's doing a lot of good, but then we also see him do a lot of bad. And this team is just struggling. It's struggling in a lot of aspects. It's struggling in hitting. It's struggling in pitching, obviously with all the injuries. And coaching wise, I'm looking at this coaching staff and Craig Counsell, and I'm questioning. You know what I mean? So yeah, not a bright spot for us Cubs fans. But man, if you're a Sox fan, what a complete opposite it is. The excitement that's going on there. You have the young bats who are showing off. You have some good pitching, and you're winning exciting games. You're beating great teams. I mean, they just won a series against the Dodgers. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Won a series against the Braves.
Won a series against the Braves as well. So shout out to the White Sox, man. You know, we don't like them. You know, we don't fuck with the White Sox. We do have a lot of friends who do, and talking to them, hearing them, like it's pretty exciting for them, and it's good to see that at least the Sox are on the up and up. But my question is, how sustainable can it really be, right? Like it's I almost see it Bears like, or if you want a better comparison, like the Washington Commanders, like a year or two ago, right? When it's like it's a young, exciting team that no one really saw coming, and they were doing great, you know, until reality sat in and was like, okay, here we go. Like this is what you are. You're not going to go far. You'll probably win a wild card game in the playoffs, but then that's it, right? And to me, that's interesting, right? Because you have a lot of good going on, and when the trade deadline comes up, like if you're Chris Getz, are you looking at this team like I don't believe? I mean, they're never going to say it in reality, right? They're never going to say it in real time, like, oh, I don't believe we can win a championship this year, so let's try to see if we could get some pieces, move some people around. But I'm wondering what he really is thinking. You know what I mean? Like, does he believe they could do it this year? Because if so, then they should be buyers. But if he feels like no, they're a couple pieces away, then maybe utilize some of this talent and try to get some sure things. You know what I mean? Because a lot of these guys are young. It might just be one and done good season. Who knows, right? So I'm only interested in that aspect to see what they feel about the White Sox. You know what I mean? And as far as the Cubs go, I don't know how to explain it, man. Like we're not winning a championship this year. So if you're Jed Hoyer, if you want to buy, sure, fine, you could try. That doesn't mean it's gonna work. But to me, I'm almost telling them just sell, just trade and start over. I don't know, man. I'm pretty down on them right now, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, no, I think that's going to probably be one of the hardest things to do is trying to trade some of these players because they're on big contracts for multiple years, right? Other than Seiya Suzuki, Shota Minaga, I think Ian Happ doesn't have a long time deal with the Chicago Cubs. It's basically just PCA, Dansby Swanson, Alex Bregman, and I think Nico Hoerner. Nico Hoerner is still up for.
No, he just signed. He signed an extension earlier this year.
Okay, Nico Hoerner. So you just have like those core pieces left, right? And you're absolutely right. And how high and mighty that we were on the Chicago Cubs in the beginning of the season. But before I get to the Cubs, let me talk to the White Sox or talk about the White Sox. Now, look, I'll give credit where credit's due, and I'll talk right when it's about the team, right? And you're absolutely right. This is a young team that was fun and exciting. If you really want a better comparison to the Chicago White Sox right now, the Chicago White Sox, and I hate to say this and putting them in the same sentence, but they remind me a lot of the 2015 Chicago Cubs, a team that was young and up and coming, just came up or is coming up, have a bright spot, but nobody really knows or nobody knew at that time what they were going to be. They got into a hot stretch and they actually ended up winning 97 games that year, getting out of the wild card and making it to NLCS before they got swept by the New York Mets. But this White Sox team, it has everything, man. The pitching, pretty decent. Hitting is amazing. I think they have 4 or 5 players already in double digits in home runs. They are second or third in all of baseball in home runs behind the Dodgers and the Yankees. So they're probably third or fourth. They are defensively, you could tell they make some mistakes here and there, but they can make it up. And they're always in every single game. And that's the one thing that they have got. That's the one thing that they got going for them is that they're in almost every single game that they're in. Right now, they're just losing 4-3 against the Yankees. The Yankees in New York. The Yankees, one of the AL favorites. So you're right. They just beat the Dodgers this past series. They had the series before that against the Braves. even though one of them was rained out. They won two. They won 2 games. So like this team, it is pretty. They're scrappy. They're a scrappy team, and you're right. I know we had this conversation a couple weeks ago, and CP, who's in the chat, said that the White Sox right now shouldn't be making those type of moves to be, and then just kind of scrap whatever your idea was of rebuilding this team from the ground up. But also at the same time, you also got to put into perspective CP and everybody, White Sox fans out there, like, y'all haven't been to the playoffs or haven't had a good, consistent team in such a long time. And if you guys wanted to give credit to the COVID team with those guys that were there, cool. But they didn't seem that exciting to me. This team, I see the excitement. I see them growing. I see them being managed well. They're playing very hard. And if they do make a trade just for like a Logan Webb, like use top lower tier prospects to get a back end relief or starting pitcher, that's fine too. These guys can rake. That's the thing. From top to bottom, they can rake. So it sucks, man, because I wish I could say I could be this positive for my Cubs teams, but it's not, dude. Like it's so many things, and you're absolutely right. To a certain degree, it starts with the players, and I think it's Jed, then I think it's Council. In that particular order on why the season is such a mess up. But like they had 2 10-game winning streaks beginning of the season. There shouldn't be a reason why they're struggling this much. But then also at the same time, like there's not enough players in this roster that plays to the strengths of Wrigley or has the strength of just grinding for what a Chicago Cub team is, like in Wrigley Field, like the time of day and everything. Like I just see players just struggling at home. And that's the crazy part about it. Like, why are they struggling at home? And I know Wrigley is complicated to play, but they're struggling. They're struggling in every aspect. And pitching, you can't. The injuries to pitching, that's just one thing. That's just bad luck in itself. Like from Steele to Cade Horton to what you have with Daniel Palencia to what you have with Boyd, who's coming back, what you had with these multiple injuries. Like gas, that can be a thing, right? Shota being so inconsistent, James Taillon giving up home runs. Like all of that takes into consideration, but the offense was made to go on these runs or to score runs, and they're struggling. As we say that, they're winning 6-0 against the Rockies, but it's the Rockies. But even then, so the Cubs know how to play down to the competition instead of playing up and dominating the teams. And that's another thing about this Cubs team that pisses me off, because they know how to, like, okay, it's the Rockies. Like they just downplay it. It's just like Spain versus Cape Verde the other day, where Spain's like, it's just Cape Verde, we got this, and yet they ended up 0-0. Like that's exactly how I feel. Like I just feel like this team has that motivation to take it to the next level, or I don't feel like they're good enough because they got hit in the mouth and they don't know how to come right back up.
Yeah, that's the thing. They can't, because they just don't. They're missing too much. They're missing too much pitching wise. They're missing way too much, as far as bats goes. It's just right now the way I'm looking at this Cubs, it's similar to you. It's like it's over. Now what do we do? That's my thing is like I'm already looking at next year, like how do we fix this? Because you're right. We came into the season with a lot of hope, with a lot of hype, and I feel like injuries definitely screwed us over, man.
Injury screwed us over. I think players not playing up to their capabilities or up to their standards kind of screwed us over, right? I mean, we were excited about Alex Bregman, even though Matt Shaw had a great year, almost a Gold Glove caliber year on third base last year. That money could have been moved around somewhere else. We needed pitching. They only signed Shota Imanaga, and they ended up trading Odin Casey for Edwin Cabrera, who's another guy who's also hit and miss on that aspect too as well. It just felt like this team was too good on paper, but in reality, talent wise, in this team and into the structure, not really that good. Not yet. Don't know if it ever will. Who knows? But the fact of the matter is, Jose, like this is just frustrating that you saying that, like, we're moving on to next year. They're 8 games back, bro. They're 8 games back of the Brewers again. They're 2.5, 4.5, 3.5 behind the Cardinals, who aren't supposed to be in that position. They're a half game behind the last place of the wild card position, We never thought we were going to have that conversation in the middle of June about the Chicago Cubs after they just had a very good start. Like, dude, in the beginning months of the first 20 some odd games, they were the best, if not one of the best teams in baseball. And ever since that, they are one of the worst teams in baseball. So, I mean, make it make sense. Like, what are you? Who are you? And I feel like there's no identity to this team. There's no big hitter. There's no slugger. There's no ace for unfortunate reasons, right? For injuries. But just in this batting, there's no juicy guy. There's no thick guy in this team to kind of like hit him off of the slump where it's like, hey, fuck it, I can hit this ball raking. PCA has been showing up the last couple of weeks, and it's been great to see. But the other day when they beat the Rockies 2-1, it was just PCA. Nobody else showed up. And he hit a cycle. Like, we should have been excited for it. He hit a cycle in the reverse way. But they ended up just winning 2-1. He's the one that just contributed for both of the runs. And it just feels like nobody in this team wants to take the responsibility of being the next guy. And you have multiple players on big contracts that can't even do it. Say Suzuki, last year he can't hit. I think that's it. Good evening, good afternoon, good night. We won't have you next year. But it's just nobody in that team outside of PCA is doing anything. And I'm just worried about right now, right? And the next, as we move on here on the Windy City Rundown here on Facebook and on YouTube, guys, thank you very much for joining us. But I personally feel like PCA is probably the best overall baseball player in Chicago, right? He just has it all. He's fast. He can hit. He plays great defense. He's basically what you call almost a 5-tool player in all of baseball, and the Cubs have him in center field, right? And we're going to have all this conversation one way or another about it with the Cubs and the Sox right now, how they're having in the South Side or whatever. But as an overall talent that I see on a more constant basis, right? Because I can't say the same thing about the White Sox. I do feel like PCA is the better baseball player in Chicago on both sides of the team. And then it's a whole list of White Sox players. And even if you want to rearrange PCA somewhere, it's a list of White Sox players and just PCA. But am I too crazy to say that PCA is the best overall baseball player in Chicago?
Yeah, 100%. Right now he's not. Don't get me wrong. He shows flashes that he can be. I just think consistency is what we need to see. I mean, he's been doing it a lot more often, but I mean, we were comparing him to Javi Baez almost in a bit, the way he's flashy, the way he does offensively, because defensively Javi Baez was on a different level. But offensively, man, yeah, I think he could definitely be the best player in Chicago. I just think there's a lot of people right now that could definitely make the argument for people on the South Side. You know what I mean? I don't know. I haven't watched too much White Sox. I really can't tell you who, but yeah, I don't know. That's a stretch, Eric, to be honest. And that's it. It's a good poll question. Is PCA the best? Is PCA the best player in Chicago right now? I think that's a good question. I think you're going to get a lot of fans, specifically White Sox fans, who are willing to argue that or debate that with you for sure.
But I mean, again, I see more Cubs than I do Sox, right? Obvious reasons, right? Cubs fan. If you can see, I got the W right here, and then I have a bunch of things right behind me of the Cubs aspects around me. So I've seen a lot more. But I mean, I do somehow keep up with the White Sox here and there, every once in a blue moon. But I always hear it on all those sports radio stations in Chicago saying how well the White Sox are. But with my own two eyes, like I just see, like if he just gets it all together, bro, like I don't think that there's anybody that will even come close if he just gets it right, like this guy could be good. And trust me, in baseball, failing 7 out of 10 times is great in baseball, right? Failing that many times considers you great. His speed won't diminish until he gets his 30s. Dude's only 24, 25. His power is just only going to grow from then on out. You're right. He shows signs of flashes that it can probably rub people the wrong way if you're not a Cubs fan. It's kind of one of those players where it's like, if he's on my team, I love him. If he's on another team, I'm just going to despise him because of the way how he is, which is totally fair and understandable. But at the same time, it's just kind of like I see him and it's just like, man, this guy just has everything. He just needs people around him. And the one fear that I have right now, Jose, is the fact that I'm afraid that we might be in a position to where he's just a good player on a crappy team. So when he's finally like the Zach LaVine effect, I think that's where I'm trying to go down that road, where he is the best player on a shitty team, and when the shitty team becomes good, he's like the fifth, sixth best player on that team. That's the one thing that I'm just afraid that might happen with PCA, and I just don't see it. But there's a scenario out there that it might happen.
Yeah, and it all depends on the team, really, but 100%, it can be a scenario. That's why I'm saying. That's why I wouldn't go and sit here and already just proclaim him to be the best player in Chicago. I just think there's a lot of talent on the South Side. That's all.
I still believe as of right now, within the last couple of days or last couple of weeks, he's been the best player. He has. And I know there's Chase Microdroff out there in the South Side. There's the guy Mune, who's on the IL right now. Who else am I missing? Miguel Vargas, the third baseman from the White Sox. He also is a good shout too as well. But like I just don't see it. I still haven't seen it just yet. And maybe by the trade deadline, by the end of the month of next month, we might have a different conversation. And that conversation might turn to where the Cubs might be sellers instead of buyers. They could still be buyers, but at this point, Jose, like the Cubs need to get that stretch again when they win 10 games in a row again and just keep it consistent afterwards after that in order for us to have this mindset change from them being so down or us being so down on this Cubs team because we had so much high hopes and expectations on this team, especially with the moves that they made over this offseason. And it just doesn't feel like this is the same team that we were talking about a month ago being the best team in baseball.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It doesn't, and it sucks, and we gotta hope for a miracle, Eric, for us to be able to feel as confident as the White Sox fans do right now. It's
100%.
I don't see that happening, man.
Jose, I'm gonna put this right now, and you could clip this and put it in all social media aspects, bro. But if somehow, some way, the White Sox win the World Series, this podcast is officially over. I would not stand for the White Sox to win a World Series while we have this podcast. You can clip it, put it on social media. Call me a hater for all I care. I don't give two shits. If the White Sox win the World Series this year, this podcast between you and I is over. Done. Finito. We won't even have a goodbye episode. We'll just be like, we'll just stop making them from here on out. I'm putting it right now. I'm doing it right now, Jose.
Do it.
Call me a hater.
Fuck
the White Sox. I don't care. But I'll be damned that the White Sox will win a World Series while we do this podcast. Damn, I will tell you. I'll be damned.
Hell yeah.
Harry Kane, the best overall player than Cristiano Ronaldo, bro? Is that the conversation we had earlier in the chat?
That's what they were telling John, man. Like look, if we're talking a little bit of World Cup, you guys listen to Eric and Kevin tomorrow on the AFP podcast as they preview the Mexico game and talk about what's been going on.
Thanks. Good plug.
With Messi scoring a hat trick, and you have Mbappe scoring and Erling Haaland scoring a couple of times, right? And then it's Ronaldo's turn. And he's seen the big names of the game, and he's seen these guys make a difference for the team. And as big of a star as he is, why wouldn't he want to take the shot? So I get it. But at the end of the day, there is no I in team, Eric. I get there's a me, but there's no I. And Bruno had a better shot. Even Thierry Henry, he even called it out on the postgame show. Like Ronaldo should have just went forward and let that pass go to Bruno, and because you would have made at least a defender pick or choose. And why not? I mean, they're gonna look at Ronaldo like, shit, we got to guard him, and then you probably have a free kick right there. But I don't know, man. The fact that he stopped that and he tried shooting it himself. Yeah, it's screwed it for his team for sure.
It didn't help the fact that Messi put on that performance last night, and it was his turn, and he was the first game. You're absolutely right. You hit that right on the head, and he was the first game of the. Was he the first? Yeah, he was the first game on today's schedule. So, now you're absolutely right, man. And I was telling you, and obviously we might give a deeper dive on this tomorrow between Kevin and I for the soccer show at 6:30. But deeper dive into this, like I was telling you guys, like Ronaldo slows down this team. You cannot have a team of João Neves, Bruno Fernandes, and I forgot the other, and Vitinha in the middle, a free flowing team in the middle, and slowing down just to go out wide for Bernardo Silva, or and and just like trying to find ways to feed the ball through for Cristiano Ronaldo, who doesn't have the same speed, who doesn't have, the mobility that he once used to have before, and just trying to get the ball to the crosses. And the thing about that though is like when he moves into the box for those crosses, he hides behind the defender because he feels like that ball is going to be there. But he's not a striker by heart. He came out as a winger, transform him to the striker, and yes, he has had so many great seasons as a striker, on top scoring goals for Real Madrid and Juventus and now with Al Hilal. But even then, like back then, he still had that pace and he still had the mentality to get there. But it's not the same. Not when you have those three,
Right.
and those three in the middle with Vitinha, João Neves, and Bruno Fernandes. It like you need a striker that knows how to play a striker position, how to move himself left, right, center, how to come in, facilitate, to drop off the ball to João Neves. Like, and if you've seen it, like most of the time, like try to do that so many times, but it's they're like, to me, Portugal felt today, especially against Congo, like they felt like they were just a one trick pony. Find Ronaldo in the box, get off a rebound, and just do whatever you can, because there was no type of creativity with with Silva out wide on the right, and Bruno kind of right there with him. Like they kind of like got in their way with each other, while Pedro Neto and João Neves couldn't be in sync, because Pedro Neto is not as fast as Rafael Leal, and I think Leal would have probably been a better fit. But that's just how I saw the game. Should they have that done better? 100%.
And they will. They still will. They'll figure it out.
But
They got too much talent on the team.
But when you still have to face Colombia, who's not going to be an easy bout,
No.
and I think they have Uzbekistan.
Mm-hmm.
Like that could probably be the game right there, but you still have, like, this was another game into their group to where it's just like 3 points had to be guaranteed in this to make this an easy road, and now they made it a little bit more difficult with themselves with this draw that they got. It's 1 point, and then you have to battle it out against Colombia, and then you have to outscore against Uzbekistan in the final game, or one of those games. I don't know their schedule from the top of my head, but it just yeah, they just need to put that game against Uzbekistan and hopefully get a result against Colombia. But it's not going to be an easy task, bro. And they really let one away. The way how Spain did it the other day, Portugal did the same thing today.
And if you're Ronaldo, you got to realize you can't do it by yourself. I mean, look at England today, man. All that talent on that team. Even when you take off, a lot of the guys coming off the bench are starters everywhere else. It's crazy the amount of time they came off the bench. And what they're able to do. Declan Rice from the corner, he's been doing it all year long with Arsenal. Then into Harry Kane, that beautiful header into the goal. That like when you see teams like that, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard for anyone to beat them. That's why when you're Ronaldo, rely on your teammates, man. Damn, you're not doing it by yourself.
No, and you know what? It's not even that about doing it all by himself. I mean, yeah, it's ego. It's Cristiano Ronaldo. That's, if you've been watching him throughout his whole entire career, that's the type of person that he is, right? He could be selfless at times, but it's very more selfish at most of the time. But that selfishness made him the player that he is today, and one of the greatest players of all time, or into that conversation, should I say? But 41. I've been saying it. I said it in the show with Kevin last week when we were going through the groups. Portugal would be a much better team, or a much better team with Cristiano Ronaldo coming off the bench than actually being the starting 11. And I get it. That's such a tough call for Roberto Martinez to make, to put one of the greatest, obviously the greatest Portuguese player to ever lace up the boots and play on the pitch, but also at the same time, one of the greatest players that could possibly be one of the greatest players of all time in the world of football. So it's just, it's a very tough task, but in a competition like this, where a result like today could be the difference of being number one in your group or number two in your group, and that alters the position that you're in. Because, man, we were really hoping that Portugal, and they still can, Portugal still top the group, and we'll have a Messi versus Cristiano Ronaldo in the quarterfinals or in the round of 16 in the knockout stages. which would cause chaos and makes numbers and beat all the Super Bowl and the NBA Finals combined into one.
Oh, there's no comparison. Yeah,
Damn.
this game, this World Cup is a global thing. It's
100%. And that would probably settle the debate on who's the greatest of all time, even though Messi won a World Cup. But we're not going to talk about the future. But a result like today can stop you or not have that type of result or type of the game that you really want to be at the end of the day. So, I mean, look, it's only match day 1. The final game will be played later on tonight, and we're on to match day 2 starting tomorrow. Like Jose said, thank you for the plug, Jose. The EAFP podcast or the EAFP show will be live tomorrow at 6:30, not at 7, at 6:30 as Mexico plays, breaking down the Mexico game against South Korea tomorrow in Guadalajara, and then obviously going over the games that had started right before then too as well. And then we're going to give you our best bets for the weekend for tomorrow's show and the games to look forward to as well. So good show for tomorrow. Stay tuned as always on your Facebook page. Like and share our show on your Facebook page for your friends and family, and on our YouTube page. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends, family, and enemies to subscribe on our YouTube page. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers by before the start of the NFL season. So we appreciate the love and support from there. But Jose, we got a head coach for the Chicago Bulls, man. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Greater pastures, greener pastures on the other side. All those good smart sayings about everything's going to be good for the Chicago Bulls. But wait and see. We'll talk about the draft next week and anything important on Chicago sports between Jose and I next Wednesday at 7:00. We greatly appreciate you guys for tuning in.
Real quick,
what's up?
There's been some news for Chicago Fire. No, are there rumors?
Oh yeah, Robert Lewandowski coming. It's Robert Lewandowski, and I want to say I saw Joshua Kimmich from Germany as well being linked to the Chicago Fire.
Crazy.
There was another rumor, and again, it's a rumor. I read everything with Twitter, which is kind of a grain of salt, but whatever. But your boy Mo Salah, the Egyptian king, might come to the Chicago Fire too as well.
And if they do that, well, regardless, I'm starting. With as much as interest that I'm in soccer, I think Chicago Fire being a Chicago team is something I'm really going to get into. But hey, that'd be great. Look, that'd be amazing.
Right now, at this point, the way the Fire are in a good position. Especially the higher. I mean, look, the moment that they got Greg Berhalter as their head coach after the stint with the United States national team, I've always viewed that as a great hire for the Chicago Fire. I thought, and I did think at that time that the Chicago Fire around this time were going to be competing to be in the MLS playoffs, and they just needed to make a few moves here and there. And let me tell you, Jose, getting 2 out of the 3, getting one of the 3, or getting all 3, especially if you get all 3, but getting 2 of the 3 of Kimmich, Lewandowski, and Mohamed Salah, bro, I mean, that can levitate the Chicago Fire into higher expectations. And if they built this stadium, if they're still there, dude, rocking. Season ticket, rocking.
Yeah, rocking. I agree.
Rocking. But as always, we appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for joining on the show. We'll be back at the same time next Wednesday at 7:00. Follow us on all their social media platforms outside of Facebook and on YouTube, on Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. We'll be posting a lot more on our social media pages, so be on the lookout there. Like and subscribe on our YouTube, like and share on our Facebook. We love you. We appreciate you guys. We will see you guys next week at 7 on Wednesday. And as always, Jose, hit that fucking